So, couple of things I want to talk about for this video. This should be a quick one. It's only about a minute of work, minute and 15 seconds. Um, from November 2025, don't remember the exact date. The one thing I really want to go over is about defensive responsibility. So we got Maddie 5-0 here, and we got Serena here. Both in the white headgear, white gloves. So we got black shirt, I guess no shirt. So Serena and Maddie 5-0. What I like about this, I know it's funny, when Serena and I have talked about this, Serena hates this performance. So Serena, I apologize for using this. However, I love the defensive responsibility from Serena, and I love the use of the right hand. As there are two uses of the right hand in this. One of them she uses as just a means to say, stay where you are. It's basically, Teddy Atlas had this great phrasing of make them walk through a bad neighborhood to have to get to you. And I love that philosophy. And I find what Serena does here with that rear hand makes Maddie 5-0 have to look at this bad neighborhood and then decide, is it worth going through this bad neighborhood to get where I want to go, or maybe I'll take a different route. During that thought process, things happen. And boxing, that happens quickly. So that's one of the things I love about this. And then I love the employment of using the lead hook to head into that direction. So in my orthodox stance, if I use my lead hook, I want to move to my left. I can jab to my left, absolutely. But I can also, my lead hook can help steer my opponent to my right, which helps me to move to my left. All right, so let's just get to it. Again, our first thing we're going to be looking at will be the defensive responsibility. And in that, you'll see punches thrown, hands come back to the head. That's huge. It's one of the things that we've been talking about the past couple of videos about. You do this, you do that, you come back up, you have a hand by your head. You have a wedge block, you have a hand on them. And you can watch how Serena always comes back with that defensive responsibility. All right, so, and even before we start, you can see here, this is defensive responsibility here. This is a opposite side unicorn guard, where again we call it unicorn because you got that one hand that's really covering the center. You'll see Maddie 5-0 always in a great guard position, and you can see the difference here in different types of guards that we have to work with. I love a unicorn guard. I just think it's a great guard. All right, let's take a look. And I'm going to back that up again because you could see the other thing too. I know we're 3 seconds in. The other thing too is these ladies both throw like it's at the same time. Somehow they're just dialed into each other and they are throwing things a lot of the time at the same time. You'll notice the pace of play isn't like da 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 da. It's an interesting pace of play. This is the type of pace of play that I love for boxing. So again, I'm just going to rewind and we can take a look. I mean, you could see, look at that, the clash here, where this comes across. It's just, I love a unicorn guard, and I love how this plays out, and I love when these two spar. A little catch and counter at the same time. 5-0 is in a nice southpaw stance. Right there. So let's watch that too. We're going to watch the cross get thrown. That cross is not thrown to make contact. It's thrown with bad intentions, but it is not thrown to, I'm going to hit you with it. It is thrown to send a message. You want to get to my house, you're going to have to go through a bad neighborhood to get here. How do you feel about that? And it makes the other person think, how do I feel about that? Do I want to walk through that? And by the time you're done making that decision process, we've moved. So you can watch, again, position. Okay, sorry. Where I'm jumping ahead is we all look at the knockouts. We all look at the end result, but it's the position and the things that happen beforehand that set those up. Jiu-Jitsu has it right in terms of position before submission. You have to get in the right position. You have to get the right position before you can go for that submission. And it's the same in boxing. You have to hit that right position in order to make that magic happen. Knockouts just don't happen by pure fluke. Sure, of course some do, but for the most part, you have to set them up. All right, I just want to go back to that right hand and how it's used as a means to you have to go through a bad neighborhood to get here. And watch the quick decision making happen. It happens quickly. Right there. And she chose. So it was right there. She got into a new position. Maddie hesitated, as she should. And then Serena intelligently, boom, goes right in. These are the things, too, that we were talking about. And I know these are the things that we've been talking about in terms of when we have to speed things up, when we have to jump in. We have to make quick decisions about when to attack. Lucky Punch tends to... We're very defensive oriented. Again, that's me. We're very defense oriented. What I like is when we're able to make these adjustments into offense and into sort of the explosions and the violence of boxing, where boom, we need to tap into that. So I'm going to let that play out one more time. I'm just going to go back a little bit more because I want to see that cross. So nice little jab, boom, right there. Now, I would have liked to have seen Serena. I would have liked to have seen that a little quicker. This could be one of those, well, hindsight's 2020. You were still figuring out so I get all that. And I know you don't like this round. I know that you think it was a slow round for you. So I understand that that moment was slow. For development, for everyone else watching too, those decisions need to be a little faster. So we had an opportunity, we got that space, so we wanted to close that distance quick, and that's where we want the and then out. Then let the judges ruminate in the work that we just did and let our opponent go, Jesus, what just happened there? Do I want to go, is it a safe neighborhood? Is it a bad neighborhood? And that's where we control the air. So I'm going to back up again. I know I talk a lot. Sorry. And I would have liked to have seen more punches. And look at what just happened. In the end there, we've got that jab cross. Watch that lead hand come right back to defend. That's checking your timing. When we talk about getting your hands, active guard, it's just perfection right there. So let's watch that again. Watch the lead hand come back. Don't get obsessed about what punches are being thrown. There's a 1-2 that gets thrown, and watch that lead hand come right back to the head. One more time. Right there. Right back to the head. Oops, sorry, Mario. The cat's trying to come up. Sorry, kitty. The cat's trying to come up to the keyboard. All right, let me rewind that again because I feel sorry, Mario. Like a fucking zoo here. I love that. Hand comes right back. Now, again, hindsight 2020. Would I have liked to have seen, once that hand comes back, an exchange here? I like what we're doing here is what I've been teaching here. What I'd like to start teaching, what I'd like to start seeing more of is a little bit of an exchange, a little more of an exchange. I don't like that. I don't like that. What we need we need that for the judges. So if this is where it gets tricky. What I think works, what I like, doesn't always impress the judges. My thing is the protection of the fighter is what I care about, and obviously the sport. Boom. So we need a little more. We just need more output. We need more moments of more moments of where I don't want us fighting per se. I want us throwing combinations and hitting them and not getting hit. So I know there's a line there. And now you could start seeing nice jab there. And notice, again, what that jab just shy of hitting, but it doesn't have to hit. What it does there, again, it makes Maddie think, do I want to walk through that bad neighborhood to get to Serena? So even if it did hit, great. If it doesn't hit, they don't always have to hit. They're occupying space, they're buying you time, and they're eating up the clock. Especially after we got in those good punches here, now we've moved. Let the judges ruminate, and wow, she just did some really good work. And now we're controlling the pace, and we're controlling the air, and we're keeping Maddie from coming in. Because Maddie comes in, as you can see. So now we're starting to, we got a stance switch here. We get that nice, boom, nice little switch. And you can see some nice feints and that double little hook to move. Now, if we look at, if you watch my cursor, so in that moment, we have, we have sort of like a spiral. So if watch the cursor right here, I'm trying to make it big. So no, to stop that. So we want to ride. So here we are on the outside. We want to sort of start of circling, making that little, like the ampersand. What is it? The ampersand, the at symbol, where it does this. That's what we're looking for. But the opposite. We're looking for being outside and coming in, outside and coming in. So being in a wide circle and slowly, and just. I can't think of the word. Just coming. Shut up. All right, let's go back. All right, here we go. And I like that little exchange there. Boom, little light tie up. And nice. And I love that. Head body. Watch that head body 3. We're moving to our left. Now, again, we're still on the outside. This is where it would be, instead of going here, it would shrink a little bit. And I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. So feel free, whatever. Just let me know next time you see me what the word is I'm looking for. From, just sort of making that circle smaller. There's a word for that, and I just can't think of it. Boom, boom. Because if we were a little closer on that 7, that would have been good. Again, there's that. Look at those last 3 punches, all occupying space, keeping distance, and not letting Maddie come in and do her work. Punches don't always have to land. I mean, look at that. We're going to go back. We're going to see how much time, how much clock management we just had. Let's back up even a little bit more. Boom. All right. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi. So we'll stop it here. We'll consider that an exchange. We had 7 seconds where punches to the air kept us from getting punched. 7 seconds out of 120 seconds. I'm gonna impress you with my math skills right now. Totally kidding. I have no math skills. So we have 7 seconds out of 120 seconds. That's a long time. We just saw. That was a long time of Maddie not working, of not punching us, of us having some clock management. All right, let's just back up a little bit. And nice. And again, we're working we're working the air. And here come the exchanges. And that was the round. So what I liked about that, there's a lot that I like. I'm gonna let this play a little bit. There's just I can't let it. I get distracted. There's a lot that, again, it was that was just 1 minute and 15 seconds. 1 minute and 14 seconds of a round. That, okay, 1 minute and 14 seconds. Of a minute and 14 seconds, we had at least at least there were 7 seconds where nothing was really happening because we were occupying space and controlling the air. And we did that in this instance by punches to the air, by sending the message of the bad neighborhood, that you have to come through a bad neighborhood to get here. So that gets established, that gets reinforced throughout the 1 minute and 14 seconds that we watched. So these are the types of things that I really like. I love that round. I loved Maddie 50. If you're watching this, I'm sorry I didn't comment on some of the work that you were doing. Yeah, and again, I never know how to end these, so I'm just going to end this with that's all, folks.